All right. Hello. What's going on? This is RMR Training Podcast. My name is Rich Ryan, joined by Ryan Kent. Meg Jacoby is doing Meg Jacoby stuff, off just doing different things. Couldn't tire down for a podcast today, but the boys are back. What's up, dude?
Hey, I mean, look, when you have kids, your life is a little unpredictable. And you could be available 1 minute and then the next you're not. And that's what happened on her end.
Yep. Wouldn't
And
know.
I'm thankful right now.
Here.
Sarah's in the living room with both kids right now trying to freaking hold it together while I disappear for an hour.
Does she give you like, all right, the clock starts right now?
Oh yeah, hour. We gotta be out at 11:30 a.m. Eastern on the nose.
We can do it. So what's going on, man? We didn't get too much chance to catch up from last week. If you couldn't tell, I'm sick. I did get sick. I was trying hard to not get sick. The 9 p.m. race, and then with a 9 a.m. like flight, it's just not the move.
I had an 8 a.m. flight.
Oh, did you sleep at all?
Dude, well, Rylan and I got back to the room. First we went out to dinner with some friends at a restaurant, which I guess I haven't been out in the city in a while. I don't realize that restaurants are just open till 1, 2 in the morning.
Food? They had food and everything?
Food and everything.
Miami's like that, I guess.
And yeah. Anyway, we got back to the room probably around 2-ish, and we just laid there in bed, kind of chit-chatting for a while, and then we both tried to go to sleep, but neither one of us could sleep. And then I think we both finally fell asleep around 5, but we had to get up at 6 to go to the airport.
I'm saying.
But I mean, it's like dude, I mean, I took like 400 milligrams of caffeine at 8:30 p.m. Like, that's not going to wear off anytime soon. And you kind of just have to know going into it that you're not going to sleep the next morning or that night. And eventually you're going to have to pay the price for that.
Yeah. And I think the move is, and it sucks to like, so this, I guess, is like my fourth race that I'm thinking of. In Chicago, same thing happened. It was late race like that. I think we didn't get out of there until, like midnight or so, 11:30. And I got sick that time. But in Vegas and Glasgow, I didn't get sick because I didn't have an early flight. So like, I think needing to push the flight back, which sucks because then it's a whole different, like a whole nother day.
Yeah.
But like just giving myself more time to just like rest, lay around, because same thing, I maybe got 2 hours of sleep, and then I was like, all right, I'm hoping I'm gonna be okay, and then you just go to the airport, and then it's just like so many people around, and there's nothing I could have done, I don't think.
I mean, I'm normally in bed by 9 p.m. and I'll typically, those night races, I'll have a cup of coffee again, and this time I was like, you know what, screw it, I'm going all in on the caffeine just so I can be jacked up, ready to go. And
would you take a pill?
You kind of just do. Yeah, I took a pill.
Like what, right before, like 8 o'clock, 8:30?
Like 40 minutes before.
Gotcha.
And it was kicking in like 10 minutes before start time, and that was how I wanted to feel that way. But
right,
that doesn't bode well for a great night of sleep.
You just cross your fingers, like I hope we can be okay. So,
and then honestly, I haven't caught up on sleep yet because I came home and I've got a baby who's now 3 weeks old today.
Congrats.
So sleep just is not at a premium right now, but somehow I'm still functioning, still making it happen.
Still getting them workouts in.
That's it.
Yes. So in the podcast today, we are going to talk about, because some of the things that we were both going to race this weekend in Atlanta. You still are going to. I am not going to. I had to pull the plug on that. It just didn't make a ton of sense feeling this way. But we wanted to talk about what it's like to touch on multiple races within like a singular training block. And this is something that we are forced to do a lot, especially here in the States. And I think they are doing this regionally in general. I know at least in like Australia and some of the newer markets, they will kind of bulk the races. So it's like, okay, we're not going to be there for the States, at least. It's like no races in the summer and really like the winter, and it's just like spring, fall season. So you're kind of forced to do multiple races. So we want to talk about how to navigate that in terms of like how to pick a race to focus on, how to do multiple races, how to train through the races, and how to just kind of set expectations around that. Before we get into that too much, we just want to talk about, we didn't talk about last weekend too much, so we're just going to keep that rolling. So
Yeah, we
how
didn't
you
get a
feel?
chance to, debrief together. You went solo.
No debrief.
I guess, yeah, we've talked in our chat and whatnot, but I don't know if I've formally congratulated you, dude,
Oh,
on
thank you.
being a world record holder.
Thank you.
Men's
Thank
pro
you.
doubles. You guys brought the heat.
It was a
And
good day.
honestly, man, like going into that race, we both, Rylan and I, were like, dude, we're breaking 50 and we're getting the world record. And
You did.
we got back to the room later that night because we shared a spot, and we were just so pissed. We couldn't even like enjoy it. We're like, we did everything we wanted to do, but we didn't win the race, so like none of it matters. Like that's
You got
just
you punched your ticket.
punch the ticket.
Punch ticket.
And
Second fastest time ever.
yeah, I mean, it was, I guess I didn't realize how little, maybe not how little the stations mattered, because they do matter some, but more or less how much the run actually matters in doubles. I mean, it's like amplified on that. And you guys are just better runners than us, at least right now. And I'm going to have to switch up some things in training, which I can do to better prepare me for something like that, because I just started running out of steam towards the end. I think both of us did. And
just the pace of it.
Yeah. I think we were just getting, like, the early pace wasn't crazy. It just, each run just kind of, you have to work a little bit harder to maintain. And then eventually you just kind of crack a little bit. And but adding up the run splits plus the rock zone, which they say is 8.7K, I think our average pace ended up being 320K on the nose, which
Was it like 520s?
Yeah. And I think coming in, that was kind of like, all right, I think we both can run 320Ks, and we pretty much nailed it. And it got me thinking about like workouts to maybe give you a good gauge on what you could potentially run in doubles. And I think it's 8 by a K with like 60 seconds rest. Like, if
Oh,
you
you
go
think
to the
so? And that would be your
I think that would be your doubles potential.
8 by K. Okay.
But if you go and you do 8 by K with 30 seconds rest, I think that's more of your individual potential.
I see.
Because right now, honestly, if I went to the track and I did 8 by 1,000 with 45, 60 seconds rest, it's probably going to be pretty close to 320, right at 520, because that's somewhere around threshold. Yeah, and I was like, that would be a great workout for people to do, to maybe see what they could hold for mixed doubles, or not mixed doubles, just doubles in general.
It's like Yasso 800s, but Kent Ks.
We call it that.
Let's go. Let's call it that.
What was your average? What was your what did you guys average?
We averaged 515 with Rock Zone. I think that this course, like they say 8.7, right? But I think that's also with the station length built in. You know what I mean? We had really long station transitions from enter to the point where we got for like skier, both the sleds, row. They were like massive areas, So when I was looking at the splits compared to other doubles, like our stations didn't seem super fast on those areas, but because I think that, and our runs seemed way faster. So I think there was some part there that adds to the time that I think should count to the 8.7, which I don't think is going to be consistent. Like, yeah, so it said 515s, which I thought 320s as well coming in. I was like, all right, I think we can run 320s per K. And then I was looking at it, I was like, I think we can be right around 49 flat. I don't know if it felt that way though. Did yours feel like 520s, think?
It felt a little faster, if I'm
Did it?
being honest. Yeah.
And I was thinking of my workouts that I've been doing. My threshold has been pretty fast. It's been like faster than that lately. At least like on the assault treadmill. So I was like, okay, I am. Uh, I was trying to think like, and like what you're saying, like, can you just run this at threshold? And I kind of think you can.
I think so too. It almost
Yeah,
works as like an interval workout,
kind of.
pretty much. Like the
Mhm.
hardest interval workout you've ever done. Which
With, like,
I
super
really
short
like because I
rests.
mean I've have decades of interval experience, you know? Like
It's
that's my
mid-distance.
favorite style of training is interval style. If I have a weakness, it's that I don't spend enough time doing that long grindy stuff. I don't miss interval workouts. Like that's my favorite way to train. So, you know, I think with a few tweaks and whatnot, I mean, I know we can go faster for sure. Like the minute and change that you guys beat us by, I would honestly say like half of that was things we can clean up. And then the other half was just you guys were pure better, just fitter than us by.
Where did you guys make mistakes? Because we had maybe like 2 spots, 2 or 3 spots that I can point to that like at a certain point this race, because this is like kind of brand new, you know, this is the first year that they're incentivizing the excuse me, the pro doubles. So we're seeing teams kind of come together. And I think there's gonna be a point where whoever's running the cleanest race, like you can't like make mistakes at all.
Mhm.
And there was at least 3 points where we made some mistakes. So what parts did you have to clean? Would you have to clean up?
Well, the first thing I would say is we just were not we were just a little bit lazy in like individual transitions back and forth. Like when it was my time to work and then his time to work, like we weren't like quick to switch positions
Mm.
like in a few spots, actually many spots. Um and that would add up. The amount of times you switch, rotate throughout a race, if you can save a half second to a second every time you do that, that's going to add up over the course of the race. So I think just being a little quicker with the transitions back and forth between like who's working and who's not. Um, then I guess the burpees are like the one that really stands out where he went down on a burpee, I think twice. And then I know that I can't start with a jump. So we basically did like 2 or 3 extra reps
Yeah.
in there. And then the wall ball transition, we got directed to one, or that's why our wall ball time was so slow. We got directed to one area and then they moved us to another.
Mm.
And then Rylan left his hat. We had to go back and get his hat at the end. Like we could have probably been 10 to 12 seconds faster in the wall ball zone just off of that alone. And then there's some strategy stuff in there too that like we need to clean up. Like I don't think I like what you guys did actually. I don't like the 500 split on row. It's just like a little bit too much at that
I think
point
so
in the
too.
race.
Yeah, I think
And
so too.
I think you can save like a little bit of time, but it's kind of one of those things where it's not worth it at that point. You'd rather get through that station a little more fresh, being able to come out ready to run than get through it 3 to 4 seconds faster by not switching.
I think
So,
that if where 500 makes sense is if the fitness levels of the athletes are just like if there's a major gap there, because you need the fatigue levels to be like almost the same. And if it's
mhm,
500, the person finishing the row, they're gonna be way more tired. Like if
for
you're just
sure.
chilling, you had like a minute and 40 seconds of rest. Like you're not gonna be able to like it almost goes for nothing because you can't run hard then. If the other
Mhm,
person you need to like wait. So like I think that's the main thing, trying to match those fatigue levels as much as possible.
mhm. But,
How'd you guys do
it
the
was
lunges?
huh?
How'd you guys do
We
the lunges?
we just each did like 20 to 24
Yeah.
at a time. There's a few things too where he started and I finished, and vice versa, where we think next time, just based off how this race flowed and how each one of us was feeling in the moment, that it makes more sense for either him to start and I finish certain stations, or vice versa.
Be a little more strategic with that.
Yeah. Yeah. Like I think towards the end, man, it's hard to know how much, I guess, Rylan was reaching. We were constantly telling each other like, yo, I'm at an 8.5, 8.5.
Yeah.
Like we always kind of letting each other know how we were feeling. 9 out of 10. And I think for the most part, we were pretty, like, I don't know, we were feeling, I think, the exact same way throughout much of the race. But I think towards the end, I think because I was supposed to start wall balls, and right before we went into the rock zone, I was like, "Yo, can you start these?" Because I was like, I sort of felt like I was naturally slowing down my run pace because I knew I had to start the wall balls. So I asked him if he could start the wall balls because I could sell out a little bit more on that last run,
right?
Knowing I didn't have to start them. And he was like, "Yeah, I can do it. I can do it." So, but I mean, long story short, man, it was our first time giving it a crack. Broke the world record, had a great race, just kind of got outclassed, and like that's fine, But it was a blast. It was super painful. Like
it's so much fun. It is.
I think pretty much from the row on, I was deep in it.
Yeah,
but I didn't get there until about the row. And like you guys gapped us on burpee broad jumps. We were just like, it wasn't that we were taxed at that point. We obviously did a few extra reps and we just weren't being aggressive enough there. Like we were just kind of like going with the flow. And it's like, no, we need to like really attack these things next time. And you guys got separation there. And then it just kind of gradually extended from then on. Like the moment we kind of lost contact, because every run it was like, we were sort of slow playing it. We're like, if we came out on top, we would just kind of ease off the throttle and let you guys catch us. And then we would just settle in behind you and let you guys pace us around. And that was working just fine. And it was nice having you guys kind of lead the way, and we just kind of followed suit. And then when you guys got the gap, it was tough at that point to kind of claw back into it.
When we were all running together, it seemed like you were latching on closest, like kind of leading the pair. Did you guys, who was leading the runs? Was it just kind of like however you were feeling?
I was leading probably the first half, and then he was leading the second half.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just like hanging on?
I think so.
How did that go? How did that go for you after, we've been talking your whole process of kind of building back and getting to this point where it gets like really gnarly, and then like the mental demons that need to pop up? How did the doubles change that?
Didn't even think about it one time. I think when you are racing with a partner, you're just not thinking about yourself really a lot. You're more or less, just trying not to let down your other partner in any way. And that's how I've always raced. I've never once gone into a race and been like, oh man, like just scared of the pain and the suffering and kind of where my mind is going to go. I'm almost like, I don't think, I just do.
Right.
And something, this last year, 18 months, where like it just hasn't been the case. And racing doubles, my mind was just focused on so many other things that I never really once thought about, I guess, like how bad I was hurting. It was just like, just make it to the next station, like you'll get a break, like, yeah, I think it's really great for, if you're someone who does struggle with that, and when things get tough, you can kind of give up or quit, or like it's easy to quit on yourself. That's an easy thing to do, but it's not easy to quit on your partner. And
you don't have to like, you can like justify it to yourself, right? You don't necessarily have to answer to anybody.
Exactly.
Even like, no, most partners are going to be like supportive or whatever. But if it's like, for me, I'd feel that way. It's like, I don't want to have them think that I'm like wimping out here.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Mm-hmm. And it was one of those things where like you really just have to make it to the next station, and you can get like a little bit of break, and it might come back. So there's always this hope that you're gonna be okay. And yeah, I thought it was a ton of fun, man. And I'm excited to do more doubles races in the future. Even though they are like, if you do it right, like they hurt and they're pretty painful. But still, like, just so much fun.
I mean, I think it's like best case scenario, right? Like you're able to express the fitness that you knew you had, right? With a like absurd time, and being able to kind of sit in that pain zone and just like deal with it, come out the other side and be like, cool, like nothing happened. I'm all good here.
Yeah.
And then and qualify for Worlds.
Yeah.
So I think that was like seriously
no,
best
for
case
sure.
scenario.
Yeah. And like I said, had you guys not kind of just beaten us, like we would be on cloud 9 right now.
Yeah.
Like it's all relative. But yeah, I was telling you before we went live, I'm like, one thing I haven't had in my back pocket for over a year now is altitude training. And sure, there is, there can be benefit to training at sea level too, like just being able to train harder, train faster, recover faster. But I've always been a big responder to altitude training, and I'd be lying if there hasn't been moments where I've kind of thought that like maybe that's been like my secret sauce all along is altitude training. So I told Sarah before we went down to Florida, I was like, hey, if we qualify, I'm thinking about renting a cabin up in the North Carolina mountains for a couple weeks before Worlds.
Oh, cool.
And
like Boone?
Near Boone. It's called Beach Mountain ski resort area. It's actually the highest town east of the Rockies. It sits
how high is like 4?
Like
Can it get that high?
5,100.
No way.
Yeah.
There's a town that high. Holy cow. I had no idea.
So I rented up a spot. It's nice log cabin style. From May 18th all the way to June 10th. So I'm gonna rent like a Penske truck, and I'm throwing in all my equipment, and I'm gonna haul it up there.
That's awesome.
And we're gonna be training up there for a couple weeks. So
that's awesome. Is the fam
and
coming?
it's kind of yeah. Sarah will be there. Kids will be there. Her mom's coming out.
That's awesome.
So it's gonna be a good time. And yeah, I'm excited to finally have, I guess, something to train for now regarding like world championships.
What's nice about the altitude, right, is like, at least the way I think of, I mean, it sucks to train every day at it because it's just like everything's like that much harder. But knowing that it's not going to like, there is a boost in terms of just like effort when it comes to respiration, when it comes to breathing, it's just like feels good to come to sea level and be like, oh, nice. It's not like harsh.
Yeah.
Like not so dry,
Yeah.
So that I mean, yeah, I mean, especially for something like doubles that is so like intense. Like for me, it always is like, I think it responds better when like the intensity is ramped up right away. Like I don't feel the altitude kind of kick in. Like in this race, I could feel it in like the back half, like when it started to get like ramped up so much. I'm like, oh, okay, I'm actually okay. I can breathe in well. My body feels okay here. So I like it. That's gonna be a fun little summer vacay.
Yeah, it'll be good. We were gonna do a beach thing, but now we're like, you know what? Let's do a mountain thing.
Mountains
got a good deal too. So
I like it. Yeah. And are you gonna change your training much?
Yeah, I've been like brainstorming some ideas on just how to get me ready for doubles. Like I think the training, obviously you can train for singles and have it translate really well for doubles, but I think you could kind of modify it a little bit to make it more conducive to doubles training.
I think And we'll probably see that more and more as this gets more mature. Like, you see that team in Paris, that Spanish team that I've never heard
That
of?
was in like the third heat or whatever.
Yeah, they're like way back. Like, those are like, they're not individual necessarily stellar athletes. And you see a team that's like Graham and John Wynn 2 years ago at Worlds, they were what?
Fifth and sixth.
Fifth and sixth. And I think last
Yeah.
year they were like eighth and ninth or seventh and ninth or something like that. And they got like sixth in this race.
Mm-hmm.
It's like a different thing.
Mm-hmm. Which is cool.
It is cool. It is
Yeah.
cool. Definitely fun. Well, cool, man. Good. So are you racing this week in Atlanta?
Yeah. I'm gonna be doing solo tomorrow, recording this on Friday, and then
Oh yeah, it's tomorrow.
doubles with one of my guy in small group, Killian. Super stud runner.
If your name's Killian, you're just fast. If there's Killian anywhere in your
Yeah.
name, you're just like
I know we
fast
got
person.
Killian Journet, Robert Killian.
Killian, a small group. The are you thinking about how the mindset's going to translate now or you're like,
Yeah. I mean, I definitely feel more confident in my abilities after doing that, like this past weekend. And confidence for me has been not that great. It's hard to have confidence when you're not performing that well, even though like there's things in training that are going well.
Well, this was like an objective.
I feel like I sort of feel like I kind of broke down at least one barrier. So let's go see what we can do.
You might rip one.
I might.
You might rip
one thing's for sure. It can't hurt any more than it did last weekend.
Right.
And the only other time I've done back-to-back Hyrox race weekends was 2023 Chicago when I won that major, and then came back the next weekend and did doubles with Meg.
Right.
And that week it did go well. And that week the only intensity workout I did was 10 by 500 with 100-meter jog / 45 seconds rest. So you have 45 seconds to cover 100 meters. So I went back to that Old Faithful this week. And granted, one was at altitude, one was at sea level. But the one at sea level was, I think if you convert like the altitude, it was still a better workout than what I did that week. So yeah, I mean, I feel confident. It's never been a fitness thing. Like there's more to it than that. So hopefully it feels like I'm working through all those things. And I'm confused though about what this means for next year. Like this weekend for singles, does that time, if I lay down a solid time, does that count towards a time for next season?
If they don't change anything, it should. Like, so they're giving us 365 rolling. So like, say,
is that even going to be the weigh in next year?
I have no idea. I mean, it seemed to work. It seems to work okay, but it is still like the fairness of it is still like below standard in my opinion, right? It's like, okay, now it's your 2 average times. Like, okay, what if you get 2 fast courses? And they have a million courses in Europe, like that Glasgow course, like that shit was short, like straight up. And like,
well, the major course, I don't know what the other
yes, and even the regular was still fast, but the major course was like, it was short. Like, so like, that's just not fair that we get to race that and someone else doesn't, So they might stick with it. They just announced that new dude, or Matt Key, I think his name is. He's gonna be like the head of the elite racers or something. So I'm gonna get up in his ear. I'm gonna be up in there, be like, I need to tell you everything, all my thoughts. I'm going to dump into your brain. So, but it would count. So like, for example, like if you run, like, say, so you have the 58 something from Glasgow, right? So you have that time, and then say you like rip, say you rip like a 55, or and then so those 2 would count, and because of the time, and if like everything is the same in terms of how the majors are laid out during the season, like those 2 times would count all the way through.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and then like if it's like so say you lay one down, you probably won't have another opportunity until Chicago, and that's what I was facing this year, right? And the way that they did the majors last year was that there was like an October, and then there was like a November, and so that Chicago race wasn't good enough to get me into either of those. So the first race I could really get into was Vegas, because I had to wait all year to try to get another time in Chicago, which was after like a major. And like, I don't even think it was, I think it was, yes, I think it was the same weekend or the next weekend before the second major in Hong Kong. So that Chicago race didn't count for either of them. So really,
they should just wipe the slate clean every year, and then not have every race be like a last chance qualifier. Just anyone can show up, and the top 15 at the first qualifier of the season is the elite 15 to start the season, and then it can kind of, people can fall out and new people can come in as the season goes on. But the first 15 athletes at that first race are the elite 15 for the following season.
Did you see a list for the
It's pretty stacked, dude.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
It is like 40 dudes deep.
And for
like,
sure.
Same
you keep scrolling, like you look over, like you hit one list and then it's like, oh, and then you scroll again, you're like, damn.
It's like, oh, these are
even like on the third or fourth slide, there's still like good dudes on there.
I have no idea what's going to happen in that race. But like the majors, to me, like if they want to have these like spectacles and they want it to be like the production, the grid, the whole deal, I think they should just be invitationals, right? Like they put money out and then like there is like you have like a pro card, and like if they want to do the top times from the past year, like your pro card can be based on that, but you shouldn't be held, like it shouldn't hurt your potential to qualify for world championships, like because of this system, right? Like it's going to be hard now, like for you to get in majors because of like whatever, like because of this season wasn't like everything matters so much, and now it's like, okay, like do I just need to like plan for the last chance qualifier,
right?
Right. And where like there's no ability to race your way in except that one race, which is nuts, and like anything can happen in one race, so I think it needs to be like invitational style, whatever. You still make the 4 majors. Those are where they pay out. That's where they put all the media attention. And then they do have like these last chance qualifier races, like 3 or 4 times, like throughout the year. And maybe you can qualify for worlds by winning a major or something. But like, it shouldn't be the only way you can make it in.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I fully took advantage of the system, but like, I don't think I should have been allowed into all the majors this season off of what I did in 2023. I was in 2025 racing off of something I did over a year ago, and clearly a lot can happen in a year. A lot can happen in just a few months. I mean, you're giving access or giving someone who did something a free pass into the following season, and like, who's to say that they're not going to get out of shape or something, or have like an injury pop up to where they can't race? Like, there's just too many variables to just give someone a free pass off of what they did the previous season. And I don't love that. Even again, I benefited from that, but I don't love that.
Well, it's big of you to say that, because like the autos are too many. Like with all 4 majors, and then they take 3 down. There were 7 auto qualifiers for every race. So then it's just like,
maybe just make it the winners, or top 2, maybe.
I think it should be the winner of, or like, I don't necessarily think they need to give maybe the podium for worlds. Like that's fine, but like say you had the Chicago win, so I think that should get you into the matching major of that year, which would have been Amsterdam. Like that's the only auto you get, right?
Sure.
Because you're right. Like, and I think that like in your example, and it would have been Hunter's example too for winning the Sweden race,
Stockholm.
Yeah, like those, for some reason, those races counted more than every other race because like my race, like I had that same time in Chicago, but my Chicago time expired in a year, but yours kept going. So that was like, I think that was just like a blind spot in their thing. And like same thing kind of happened to Megita, right? Like he like ripped one and then basically got in the Worlds the following year because of it and was like dealing with an injury.
You know what they need to do? They should have a wild card, baby, and let one wild card into the World Championships. Let it be me. Come on.
That's what they in CrossFit when Hunter got in, they called it the blowhard.
Right. Yeah.
They called it the blowhard card. Just whoever can pump their beat their chest the loudest, make the biggest commotion. They'd probably pick like some CrossFitter, some influencer.
Yeah. It wouldn't be me, unfortunately.
But yeah, so I don't know. I don't know if they're going to change it. They change it every year so far. I hope they do change it. Kind of. I almost don't because like I have 2 really good times because of
254s.
Like I'm pretty good. But again,
I'm going into Atlanta with the intention of like this being one of my races to help me kind of get my way back into the Elite 15. So if it's not, I would be pretty disappointed.
Right. That'd be stupid. Like you can't, like, it's like, okay, now we're just going to change it every single year. So we can't plan on how to do the next season ever. Like, how does this work? I'm guessing we're only going to get one major next year, but I'm guessing we'll get the last chance qualifier in North America. Like, I'm guessing they'll just do one market for each because that's what they did this year. They did a Europe, APAC, North America, and a UK. So I'm guessing that's just like what it's going to be. But I'm hoping that the last chance qualifier is here.
Are you going to race all the majors next year? I know it's still pretty early, but do you plan on like after Worlds just kind of letting yourself get out of shape for a little bit and then build back up? Or are you going to just kind of keep rolling with it?
I'll probably do the same thing I did this year, just kind of change the training, like, and just do a little bit more like CrossFit, a little bit less structure stuff. I don't think I'll like take much time off.
Yeah.
I might have to just be like ready early. It depends on where the majors are. Like, I'm not going to APAC. Like, I'm just not.
Yeah.
That's craziness. Like, I'll go to UK. Those are our people out there, man. Dude, love the UK. I hope it's back.
The shitty thing about Scotland. Yeah. The shitty thing about not being in to the majors or being in the Elite 15 is like you sort of have to always be ready. Like you always have to be ready to perform and throw down, be at the top of your game.
It's very stressful. And that's why like this year I was like, okay, now I need to do Chicago and Dallas because like I hope one goes well and I hope one course is faster than the other. And just like figuring out another thing is like they're changing these sleds, the sled carpet, right? So like,
yeah,
what if this affects the times by like 90 seconds?
From the knowledge that I'm getting, the intel that I'm getting is that the sleds are going to be easier than what they already are. This would be the third time in Hyrox's existence where the sleds have gotten easier. I think something happened when it went from 25-meter lengths to 12.5-meter lengths. And then something else happened when they switched the sleds from. So there was 2 right there. And now we're changing the carpet. This is going to be a third time now because the sleds were taking 4 minutes and then they were taking like, about 3 minutes. And now we're looking at like 2 minutes or under on these sleds.
Could be.
And
yeah,
it's like one of those things, man. I mean, it's like, are we getting better? Because not too long ago, dude, if you broke an hour on the men's side, you were cream of the crop. And now something happened where like, okay, like a 57 is like what a 60 used to be. And now a 54 is like what a 57 used to be. Like, I don't think people are running 6 to 7 minutes faster than what we were doing just a few years ago. I think I think a lot of it has to do with the sleds and the time spent there and then the impact that has on the rest of the race.
I think it's a combo because it's like what we're not going to see happen now is someone who comes into the race for like the first or second time and is already in the elite field, because I think there's just like a learning curve. There's just like some knowledge that we have about how to run this race and just the experience that we have, that does make us that much better than even if like the most fit person in the world comes in and tries to like, they're just not, like, doesn't matter. Like, even if like, if my fitness and someone else's fitness are like the exact same across the board, all things equal, I mean, race in a race, I could potentially beat him by like 90 seconds.
For sure.
You know? I think there's a little bit of that. I do think the strength and the appropriate training for something like the sleds and really what we need, like how strong you need to be, how much endurance you need to have. There's something to that too. But yes, the sleds are definitely, they're making it like a little bit better, a little bit easier. Like the first, do you remember in the first iteration of the sleds, the poles, they were super low.
Oh yeah.
Remember?
Yeah.
Like you had to get almost at like
horizontal.
Yeah. And it was like, it's way harder to push it like that. So that was definitely something. And then these center sleds are just like nice. You know, they have like the knurling on the poles, like so they don't like slip up. They're just like good. And this carpet is going to, it could be either way, right? It could be way faster up front and then just like way slower. So it's just like much more variable. Who knows? Who knows? But hopefully it just makes it more even and it just creates like fairness.
Yeah. Well, it's gonna be a bunch of runners and
stronger runners,
a bunch of Rich and Palacios out there.
Yes, sir.
Smashing it, dude.
I
tell you what, for doubles, by the way, like I made a note. I'm like, dude, stop with all the strength work. Like it matters a little bit in solo, but with doubles, the amount of time you're spending strength training or even station training, like it's not as significant as it would be. Pull back on that. Just focus more on pure running ability, overall conditioning. Because if you think about it, you're only doing half the station stuff. Like you're literally pushing the sled for, less than 30 seconds.
The sled push is like isn't hard in doubles.
No.
The sled pulls something because I think you're just ramped up so much. And like our times aren't that much faster. Even like they're faster, of course, but they're not like the sled push is like a minute faster. A sled pull is like, I don't know, 40 seconds faster or something like that. Really. And I think we're just like ramped up at that point. It's however long into the race that is. Over
the transitions are a little slower too.
Transitions are wonky. Did you guys do full lengths?
No.
What did you? When did you split each time?
Yeah,
you did.
And then I started the first one, he finished it, and then started the next one, and then we just kept doing that way. It's like whoever would finish the last few pulls would then start the next one.
Yeah, we didn't do a great job with that either. Like I think a full pull is faster because the transitions are so wonky, but I don't really know. No one's doing it that fast, so it doesn't really matter.
It'll be interesting to see kind of how like the strategy is going to evolve in this race, I think a lot. The more people do it,
Yeah, people are definitely going to be innovating and like figuring out like what's best. And there's going to be like toeing the line for cheating and stuff. And then we'll figure that. For us, the transitions on lunges are. How did you guys do that?
I don't want to say because we have a way.
I'm just gonna go watch some videos and see if and see.
There's none out there, dude. Every on the live stream, it didn't catch it.
We need to go like just like lifting up and somebody and like the other person like coming behind and just like scooping.
That's pretty much it. Yeah.
Like because we were like turning, and like. And you guys crushed us on that. Like you're probably a little bit faster on lunges, but the transitions, I think we were losing 3 or 4 seconds each time. And yeah, I think you probably beat us by like 10 seconds. Yeah, we don't have a ton of time to talk about the topic.
No, we can just keep talking. Just Hyrox.
Let's just keep talking shop
and stuff.
Yeah.
Camilla were supposed to throw down. And Meg did you see her? She was in Miami, right?
Yeah, she was in Miami. No, I didn't see her. This is like the second time at a major, or not a major, at a race that like we've been at the same place. We've been at the same race twice now, and I've seen her for combined like 35 seconds. Like just didn't get to see her. It's a bummer. It sucks. That's the worst.
When is this London race?
Maybe it's next weekend. I think it's next weekend.
Who were some? I was gonna say like who were some of the big teams, but there was a list that was put out on that. I just don't remember what it was. I do know that Nicole Miracle and Rebecca Hammond were supposed to be in Miami, but they opted for London instead. I think because they thought it was going to be an easier race for them to qualify. Little did they know that Meg and Camilla weren't racing, and now they're over there in that race.
Like
so
Lucy Proctor and Sinead Bend, who will be a pretty good team. And I think there was one other team that was like, okay, this is like a really good team as well.
Okay, so I got to ask you this. So after doing doubles in Miami, I was just chit-chatting with Rylan back in the hotel room, and it got me thinking about what's possible on the individual side. Because it's like if that is how hard, like, you have to work to do a 49, I almost can't imagine doing that on a solo effort.
Doing solo.
Like I personally don't think anyone could ever break 50 minutes in a Hyrox by themselves, unless something with the race itself, like, yeah, these carpets, they're doing 75-second sled pushes and 2-minute sled pulls.
Let's just look at this really fast. Yeah.
I don't think anyone, the way it's set up right now, like, it's not possible for anyone to go under 50 minutes.
The running would have to be just like really, really good. So I'm just going to look this up, like, and say, like, if there could be the chance that someone gets so good at the running that, like, say they did run as fast as Plyo, now they ran like 5:15s. So
okay,
that would be 28:23
with rocks,
with Rock Zone, with the 8.7. And then let's say I'm just going to go back and use my Chicago splits because they were like fast on, like, the sled pull was just going crazy that day, and there was like the straight line burpee broad jumps.
That is nice.
That is great. The workout total was 23:05.
Right, and we were like 20 minutes
for doubles. Gotcha. Yeah. So yeah, right. Like, there's still, you were 20. Wow. So it's 3 more minutes. And these splits, like, yeah, like, because how much faster are people going to go? Like, maybe there's, because I don't know, like, if this is like a perfect race, because I mean, my sled pull that day was 240, which is just like, how much faster are people really going to go than that? Maybe they can go like one, maybe there's like, so what's that total time? That's 51:30. That's 51:28 if someone went 5:15s. So there would need to be like another minute and a half. So maybe that happens on sled push. I don't know, man. This might be able to happen. Let's say they run 5:10s.
Dude, this would be just like this person's juice to the gills, man.
Come on. How dare you? So if they ran 5:10s, we're at like 51 flat. Someone would have to be running 5 flats.
I honestly think we're going to look back on this era of racers, and I almost could see the sport going backwards before it goes forward. Because normally in the beginning of a sport, right, like it's new. Like, people just aren't very good at it. But the thing is, most of the people that are competing in Hyrox at the highest level have been doing either training for Hyrox without knowing that they're training for Hyrox for years,
like us.
or
yeah,
doing some sort of endurance training since they were kids.
Right.
Like, we were primed and ready for this sport to come out. It's not like none of us had a running background or a fitness background. Like, all of us come from something.
Mm-hmm.
And I think we're going to end up taking for granted, like, the athletes that are currently competing. Like, I really could see the sport going slower once we all retire. Hunter's gone. Like, Alex
good old
is gone.
days. You're gonna be like, back when
I,
we were
I
out
really,
there.
I'm just saying, I could see it
You're like
going
Charles
backwards
Barkley.
before it goes forward again.
Maybe because so like what would need to happen, right? Is like that there would have to be a kid who has like high level running potential, right? Like, and who foregoes that running potential to pursue Hyrox, right? Like,
But how soon would be too soon to start doing some of these movements in training?
I don't know.
You know,
I
should
mean,
like
like
8 and 9-year-olds be doing
I mean, not that
lunges and wall
young,
balls and
but I mean, if you're like 15, right? Like I started running track and field when I was 14, 15, and I was playing basketball at the same time, and like I ran like 414 in high school, right? And if I got into the weight room because I was doing a little bit of lifting, and if I was like, you know what, like I'm gonna see what I can do in Hyrox with that type of output, and as a young kid, like the strength would take some time, but if I put in 7 more years from like 18 to 25 with that like high end ability, it's gonna like that's how I foresee it. Like it's gonna be some kid, like these kids are crazy these days, some kid who can run 410 in the mile, right? Who's like likes the weight room, doesn't really or like sees this as a path to like potentially make some money. And then like 410 at some point, like you're always gonna be good at running 410.
right.
But maybe you just like don't like school. Right. And you're just like, I'm just gonna see about some cake right now and get pulled into it. Like so maybe you're right. Like there might be an immediate drop off after us who've been here for so long, who've been like kind of training for this. But there might be a kid who's 18 who's training, and when he's 25, 28, is going to be just like nasty.
Yeah. Yeah. Like someone who has like 13 or 14 minute 5K ability and like can basically jog 5-minute miles.
Right.
And put on a little bit of muscle, cover the stations.
Right. And at that point, it probably won't even need to be that much muscle. Say the kid weighs like 150, right? Say he's like 6'1", 155. It's like make him 6'1", 165.
Right.
And take him from like a 1410 to a 1430.
Yeah.
Like it will be someone like that.
Is that person out there though?
They might
not yet. Maybe.
Not yet. I mean, there's definitely kids who can run like that, but like, is this sport gonna become cool enough and like appealing enough for people to be like, that's something that remember Lucas Verzbickus?
Mm-mm.
Do you remember that name? I think that was his name. He was a high school phenom in running, but he's also an amazing triathlete. And he moved into tri instead of going all in on like running. You know, so it would have to be something like that. It's like I could be really good at running, but I think this Hyrox thing is really cool.
Right.
And I'm gonna like we saw with CrossFitters, right? Like there are kids who trained from the time they're like 12, 13, when they're 19. They're like amazing. They burn out, but they can dedicate so much more to it, right? And there might be coaches and programs and things like that happening in the next like 5 or 10 years.
I was impressed by Noah and Chandler's time. Honestly,
they did pretty well.
Like 54 minutes.
That is good.
I mean, they absolutely slayed some of the stations.
Their lunges were crazy,
but still, like 54 minutes is pretty damn impressive. Those are some big boys too. Big boys,
so big. they so when Chandler ran with Dylan in Vegas, they ran 56:36. So
crazy.
Chandler traded in Dylan for Noah, improved by 2 minutes.
Do you remember us passing them one time in particular? We just flew by them like they were just standing still.
we passed them later in the race, and like it was around that top corner, like before you come into the end, and so people were kind of squeezed along that, and like we were trying to come up and yell left. Like Playa will take the left. I would go around people, but Playa was like screaming left at people, and it was Noah that was just like in the way. Like he just like we came too fast. It was around the curve, and like Playa bumps and like screams at him. And then Chandler Smith yells back at him in Spanish. Chandler yells back at Playa.
Really?
Yeah.
That's gangster, dude.
I know. I was like, this is impressive. Them running to 54 is impressive, but him screaming in Spanish back at my partner, that's high level stuff.
Well, hey, I gotta say, we're coming for that ass at Worlds.
You'll know where to find us.
I'm gonna be fresh. I'm gonna be fresh as a daisy, dude.
That is
Just
true.
ready for doubles. Ryland's got youth on his side.
He'll be all right.
You guys pushing
Your
40. Can
Your
you
man's is gonna
recover
be
in time?
tired. Your man's is gonna be tired at that point.
I mean, dude, there's so many good teams that are sub 51 or right around there, to where if you show up and you are not on your game, like, people could slide in there, dude. And
It's
a
gonna be
lot of these top end teams are like have elite 15 athletes on them that are racing 2 days before that. So recovery is going to be freaking. You better find an ice tub.
And 2 days later, I'm gonna be so sore. Like, there's
Right. You almost wish it was like the next day.
right, just like get it over with. But I'm gonna be incredibly sore. I'm just gonna be taking like handfuls of ibuprofen. I think like Marcus Wallace and Dawson Miller, they're gonna be legit because they're both coming in fresh too, and they're like pointed right at this home field for them, basically.
Yeah,
from Wisconsin. But you're right, like the international guys, who knows? They'll all have raced, and they'll all have raced. I'm guessing. I wonder how many this is the case for, who will come over from like the UK or whatever and not even run like their age group race and be like, no, we're just doing doubles.
I could see it happening
For sure. So yeah, that's
Have they announced prize money for doubles?
They haven't.
Not that I really care.
Some, right?
There's probably definitely some.
They're just like gift cards. Yeah, no, they haven't announced. Yeah. It's gonna be crazy.
That might be the race of the weekend. I mean, I'm excited to see the Elite 15 showdown. That race seems to be up in the air. You can go to many different directions. But the way that we were kind of just together for, almost half of that race was pretty fun. There's 7 other teams, man. I know. Imagine, like, it's gonna be freaking nuts, dude.
That's where, like, in terms of strategy, like, if you get to if there's like 7 teams at Burpee Broad Jumps at the same time, like, it's gonna matter like where you are, right? Like what kind of position you have.
Yeah, I saw you guys were like beelining.
I don't know if that was fast. I don't know if that was faster.
I don't know.
I was doing it, and
you almost want to just get to it, and then you could just run across.
Yeah, I was doing a tangent, and I was like, I don't know if like I'm covering less distance going off on an angle than going straight. Like I might have been, but I thought it was smart at the moment. But
I'm gonna do so many burpees, dude. I'm just gonna do burpees.
I have to.
Burpees and ergs.
That was a mistake we made too. Like we were doing 5s, and I was just like sticking to the plan, and I had like 1 jump left to finish out one, and I did like half a burpee, and then like stopped, and was like, oh no, it's your turn, and then I like didn't finish it, and then plyo had to finish. I was like, I could have just done that. That's not that big of a deal.
I think that's the move. I think 5 and 5 is the way to go.
Maybe 6.
Yeah. Any more than that, just too much, I think.
You start going too slow. Yeah, agreed.
Doubles is where it's at, though, dude.
Doubles is fun. Doubles is fun. Maybe next year they'll have like a mixed doubles Elite 15, because that'd be pretty sick too.
There's gonna be too many damn races to fit in.
It already is like that.
Like, you're gonna have to start making choices on what you want to do,
which is cool. I mean, it's more inclusive for athletes. Like a lot more athletes are like is gonna like triple the amount of Elite 15 athletes. And just like what's really exciting about that is how, I know you don't love the pomp and circumstance, like the media and like all the obligations and stuff, but I think it's kind of cool. Like they make you feel special. Like, and just like going through all the motions, going to the debriefings, like having like this big thing happen, and more people will get to experience that. I'm excited just for like more people to have that opportunity. I think it's cool.
I think it's because you're just now sniffing it. You're getting a taste now.
I like it. I'm like, hey, media, count me in. I'll answer your questions. No problem. All right, so you got Atlanta. You're racing tomorrow. What time is your race tomorrow?
7, which I'm in the second wave. I don't know if that's by
You
design
are?
or by accident, or they're just like, dude, like all the other
put
guys
together
that I would
singles.
normally compete against are 650.
Who's racing this?
I saw Colin Stiefers in there. Hayden
Nice.
Warner from camp is in there.
Hayden had a good one. They got fifth, I
They
think. Him
ran
and Jared.
great, dude. They ran great.
Nasty. Is JK running?
I didn't see James Kelly's name in there, which I was hoping he would be because I like to race him.
I'll give him some. I think it's like a whole Proven thing. Proven's taking over Hyrox. If you didn't see, that's what one of their newest video. How Proven's going to take over Hyrox. It's like, okay, thank you. Yeah, so that'd be fun. It'll be cool to have. It'd be cool to have all that type of thing there, and it's great that the people are interested. Did you see Tia's going to retire from CrossFit?
I did see that actually.
So she's coming.
She's all in on some Hyrox, man.
That's really cool.
Just stamping her legacy even more.
I mean, yeah, it's not out of her character, right? She made the Olympics in weightlifting. She did the bobsled situation. So she's like, let's see what else we can do. So
she's a better runner than I maybe gave her credit for.
She ran like in high
school. Smooth running stride too.
I don't know what the circuit's like in Australia, but her sport was cross country and track and field, and she was like national level scholastic runner. So like that is her background. Yeah, man. So that'll be cool. And then holler at kids out there.
Honestly, I thought about bailing on singles and just going doubles again, just to get
all doubles, man.
Another race.
You're all in.
It's fun, dude. It's a lot of fun. I think it allows people who I think, like interval training, you can almost like outkick your coverage a little bit because you get those little bit of breaks and you can kind of push beyond what you think is possible a lot of times. I mean, I've done interval workouts before where I'm like I probably shouldn't be able to do this right now, but somehow your ability to recover can be better than someone's.
You can take risks a little bit more.
Yeah. It's just a totally different race. A lot of fun.
That's kind of how I felt like with the actual stations themselves. I felt like I could just like press a little bit more and be like, well, let's just see. And I think that's a confidence builder as well for the individual race too. It's like, okay, I did this faster. I didn't die. So
that said, there's still a level of pacing to it. I think a lot of people think, just because you're splitting the work means you just go balls to the wall when it's your turn to work, but you're still riding a fine line.
The ski is still a trap.
Oh, for sure.
Because you can hammer that thing. What were you guys going? Were you like
136, 137, like something like that? When I did my workout the week before, I was going like low 130s. And I was like, oh, that's way too aggressive.
That can be a thing. Dude, Cole Learns in this. He's pretty good. I'm just looking at the start list here. Guy Majeros. Good to see him all up in the Hyrox.
I don't know who that is.
He's like the strongest CrossFitter. He's the Brazilian dude. He's like unbelievable with the barbell. Am I the right thing?
Dude, you would have raced at doubles on Sundays at 3 p.m. You would have raced at 2:30.
I know.
It would have just came flying right on by you.
Please. I wouldn't have known what to do with myself. I was hoping to because this course looks good too, man. It's a 2-lapper.
They're starting to all look.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like they were doing this thing where they were they're putting those hairpins in, like the Vegas course for some reason had this like ridiculous hairpin every time you came in the rock zone, And for Miami, they flipped it where it's like just you go in and then you just go straight and you go out and you just kind of go straight and you're right back on your run. I think it's the same thing for this weekend.
Yeah.
And a 2-lapper.
Yeah, it looks good.
It looks really good. Could be.
Love me a good 2-lapper.
It's the best. It makes it seem like it's so much faster.
Well, I guess we'll save the topic for next week.
Yep, I teased it in the middle here. and I just lied. So if you're hanging
Oh,
on,
dude, we haven't had a chance to
subscribe.
really bullshit
Yeah.
and catch up. So
it was good. It was good chatting with you.
yeah.
So I hope everything's good. Did you get your spot for Chicago then? You booked your travel,
like hotel and stuff.
hotel.
Yeah, I'm at the W.
That's your spot.
That's my spot.
That's just your spot.
I'm bringing the whole fam too. We're road tripping.
So you're road tripping?
It's like 10 hours.
Is that it?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
That's not bad at all.
No.
Bring the pups?
No, we'll have somebody
pups
watch
aren't
them.
Pups aren't.
Yeah.
All right. Cool, dude. Well, that's good. Have fun in Atlanta.
Yes, sir.
Peoples.
Yeah. If you
blowing my nose, trying to get back.
any
back in action.
RMR training members, come holler at your boy. I'll be there. I'd love to meet you.
Yep. Yeah, man. And then that's really all. I'll let you get back to the fam. Good chatting. Talk to you soon.
Peace.